Today is May the 27th, 2016. It's a Friday. It is 7:57 Eastern Standard Time. It is 80 degrees inside the house. It's hot and humid. Let's get down to books. Today, my wife and I went to Grand Haven, which is north of where we live. We went to Grand Haven Public Library, which has a used bookstore, which is called Cheap Stacks. We go there at least once a year, probably in the spring and summer. One thing about Cheap Stacks, paperbacks are a quarter and hardbacks are 50 cents. So you can get a lot of books. Usually I get a lot of books. And so this is what this video is the books that we got today at the Grand Haven Public Library used bookstore Cheap Stacks. And these are the books that we got. First book, I got this for a quarter, The Selected Writings of Samuel Johnson. A couple years ago I read some biographies on Samuel Johnson, and so I got that, and I picked up a Nancy Mitford Highland Fling. I found out when I was cataloging my books in my library thing that I had this, so this goes to the Book Nook tomorrow. I collect Nancy Mitford and the Mitford sisters, so I got that. I found a Patrick White, he's an Australian writer, The Eye of the Storm. When I was cataloging this, I had this in paperback. Now I have a hardback edition of Patrick White. I found this novel by Viram Seth. I've discovered I have this in paperback, but now I have a hardback edition. This is called Equal Music. I have a couple books by him. He lived in China, California, England, and India. He was born in Calcutta. I collect his writings. This is Equal Music, Viram Seth. I found a biography on George Eliot, Voice of a Century, by Frederick R Carl. I have his biography on William Faulkner. I have his biography on Joseph Conrad. And I also have another book of his, I think it's called can't remember it, I think Sovereignty of the Artist. It's called Modern and Modernism, the Sovereignty of the Artist, 1885 to 1925. I have that book by him. And I found this biography by him, Frederick R Carl, George Eliot, Voice of a Century. And I found this, Waiting for the Weekend, by Wito Rybiashek. It's a study on leisure, how people use leisure time. I found this novel by Jenny Diskick. She just passed away. She's a British writer. I read a novel of hers last year. Found another novel by her. Found Come Along With Me by Shirley Jackson, part of a novel, 16 Stories and 3 Lectures by Shirley Jackson. I found this biography, Divided Soul, The Life of Gouga, by Henry Troet. He's a French biographer. This is translated out of French by Nancy Amprox. I have several biographies by this Henry Troet. I have his biography on, let me see, Tolstoy. I have his Pushkin and some others by him. So, found another biography on Joseph Conrad by Jeffrey Myers. I collect biographies by Jeffrey Myers. I have several by him. I found this Mary McCarthy memoir, How I Grew. I have this already, but mine's a paperback. It's kind of ripped, but see, there's Cheap Stacks. There's the logo. Cheap Stacks used books, run by the Friends of the Grand Haven. It's not called the Grand Haven Public Library. It's called the Lutit District Library. Loutit District Library. I didn't know that. I thought it was the Grand Haven Public Library, but it's called the Lutit District Library in Grand Haven, Michigan. So I got that. I found this book called Scream. A Scream Goes Through the House, What Literature Teaches Us About Life by Arnold Weinstein. And I found this novel, In a Free State, by V.S. Nepal. I found a novel by William Trevor called Love in Summer. I collect William Trevor. Found this novel, The Safety Net by Hedrick Boyle. I collect his writings. He was a German writer. This is translated out of German by Leah Venderwich. I found this biography, Mrs. Humphrey Ward, Eminent Victorian, Preeminent Edwardian, by John Sutherland. I found this by Louis Akerlosh, Skinny Island, More Tales of Manhattan. He was an American writer, New York City writer. I've shown his books. I collect him, and I found another one I didn't have. I found the letters of Maxwell Perkins, editor to author, letters of Maxwell Perkins. He was an editor for Scribner, Charles Scribner, who published Hemingway, Thomas Wolfe, a bunch of writers. Another story of letters, Max and Majoria Kinman Rawlings, correspondence between them, Max Perkins and Margiel Kinnan Rawlings. So I found that. And lastly, I found this Company of Strangers by Robert Wilson. Looks like a historical thriller that takes place in the Second World War. I got these in the mail yesterday. Abroad, British Literary Traveling Between the Wars by Paul Fisrell. And I got this in the mail yesterday. Dell Halgren by Samuel R. Delaney. This is a novel, kind of magic realism, science fiction. So those are the books I got. I've been reading, once again, Open City by Tujal Cole. I'm trying to read at least some novel every month so I can review it or talk about it, besides just showing the books that I get at thrift stores or books I'm reading. I also reading White Sands, Experiences from the Outside World by Jeff Dyer. And I'm reading still the novel, a biography by Michael Schmidt. So that's what I've been reading the last couple of days. These are the books that I got today at the Cheap Stacks used bookstore there in Grand Haven. I got books coming in the mail. I might get tomorrow. I volunteer at the library used bookstore. Maybe I'll find something tomorrow. When I closed in my diary today, I was on page 554. So tomorrow, on May the 28th, I will be on page 355. Is that it? 455. That tomorrow I'll be on page 455 in my 2016 diary. So like I said, it's hot here in West Michigan by Lake Michigan. It's hot and humid, sticky. Not much else going on. So, hope you have a good weekend and tell me what you're reading this weekend. Bye.